Hello truth seekers, and welcome back to our channel with the shocking truths of the marvelous world of Prince Harry and Meghan Markle. Hello, like our channel, women and men, welcome back to my home channel. We're serving the best teas to roast another Meghan enemy while still hot. So it appears the recently anointed King Charles has found his missing backbone after all, giving it a good shine before delivering a swift boot to the withered royal aspirations of this treacherous daughter-in-law. Resource: oh, you hungry rumor exploiters. There are reports surfacing that our rickety ruler is planning to take away the last threads of royalty, keeping this Duchess of Deceit in quasi-regal position into sham sovereignhood. Her courtesy, princess title. Now, before we jump into that shade, you do me a solid. Right now, go ahead and slap that subscribe button and turn on your notifications for the latest updates and news from what's trending. We have new videos every day, so check in. You are not going to want to miss what we have in store to explain how that content got explosive. So now, it is an ice-cold balaclava of an eviction notice from the woman whose entire public posture is a self-mocking choice. Chris Gayomely, at Chris Gayomely, August 15, 2018. All that pushing by a self-styled princess brought in line through little more than an order from court. Basic Meg's the grifter, in civilian life. But, oh, the gale of righteous indignation that will be blowing round the Montecito manufactory when the story has sunk in. The Duchess Diva camp, no doubt furiously drafting racist animus and outdated patriarchal biases statements. Watching the royal chessboard reset knocks over centuries of aristocratic stacking. What to do about King Charles's most divisive ruling echoes in the cavernous halls of Beyond the Gates, rattling the very bedrocks of the Markle mythos. The boldness of removing a script, which was till an image of modernity and growth, is now stark reminding of the previous power of the previous guards and pesky issues of the folks whose assorted watches is traditional. You see, the ostentatious era of title, rank, and unmerited accolades, built on sand, begins to topple down. And now, the carefully manufactured image of a philanthropic powerhouse teeters on the edge of mockery. UK unfurled fans are over Meghan. Meghan has been reduced to the worst thing of all for a celebrity. Nothing the Sun, the storyline she forged so carefully collapses, her links to royalty severed, cast adrift in the wild seas of public perception without the life jacket of her princely links. What could this mean for the future of the Sussex saga? For starters, it marks another chapter of the enduring movie franchise that has been affectionately embraced by many around the globe. The king is drawing a line in the sand, and here, to the crown that has been so tarnished by scandals and controversies, there is no doubt of the level of power it still commands. The message is loud and clear to wagging tongues and naysayers that as the monarchy changes, it will not be diminished. And as we bask in the warmth of this scalding tea, know the conditions that either illustrates your hand in this bold move. How will Meghan and Harry react to this royal slapdown? Take refuge in their Californian fortress, or fight like cornered lions? This royal rift is definitely the gift that keeps on giving. Dear readers, on tuned, the tale will continue to be told. We will be here to break down the minutiae of every new development, to try to separate genuine statements from lies and obfuscations. Once upon a time Meghan Markle was our fairy tale of contemporary love's triumph, but what seemed to be a relatively pure love story was apparently trash, and now it actually read like melodrama, Shakespeare-like story of betrayal and fate. The wails for more truth bombshell books, sold for a shameless profit of course, lest the swine take a fever to the dough, or Incan Beatty Oprah specials meanwhile continue haplessly to howl against that sovereign snub. So be not intimidated or unnerved by such weak hysterics, my decorous companions. Not where the cold hard truth is now so clearly incontrovertible. Meghan's royal love affair was always going to be a con, handcrafted without love and not fit for elevation to the hallowed levels. All along it was surfaced that her link to the royal family was more strategic than genuine. The idyllic charm, that once had blinded the general public, had given way to show her true, malicious colors. You goddamn cut that cancer off the family tree so it doesn't rot the core. What could be a more disrespectful disavowal of the institution that gave her a voice than this performance by the trite beast actress, turned truth mangler? It's an affront to the sovereign himself, to whom she was married, to whom she was consistently warm, inanely bold, including the embarrassment her talk show tours and self-regarding bestsellers have registered their fevered assurance in her myth of princess persecuted even as she openly feuded with the sovereign's own flesh and blood. Her actions have had about the same blasting charge effect on the centuries-old traditions and values guarded by the monarchy that it would have had with a controlled explosion of dynamite. No matter how you slice it, Meghan Markle's non-stop myth-making is at odds with the sense of decency and privacy one's supposed to keep while bearing your title with dignity. It makes her princesshood a joke and Lilibet's dodgy bloodline an undeserved insult to the very titles she long schemed to gain from her multiple marriages. Attend a sinister warning to those who explore the cruel you have a word with movie theater, assuming some source adjustment of frank racism or misogyny must have possessed finally behind here, a searing lesson from the king's harsh actions, we supplicate you. Finally, this was the inevitable outcome of Meghan's unending push the envelope. It was the juncture where her ceaseless con artistry was doing so much against the grain of what is real that their entire fabricated fallacy needed to be torn asunder before breaking. But as a narrative, her story spiraled out of control, each public appearance, each statement further shredding the credibility of what she said happened for the world to see. Ultimately, it is a story of the perils of untempered ambition. Despite far from perfect, the royal family is a touchstone for continuity and tradition which Meghan relentlessly set about destabilizing. The tale is a warning that true royal family is not about titles or media blowy, yet with the peace, honor of task she thus obviously needs. As we begin to consider the aftermath of the episode, let us not be blinded by the noise and the spectacle. This is a monarchy which has weathered far greater storms, and will weather this one too. When the king disengaged from Meghan, he wasn't just preserving himself, he was demanding that such principles be preserved or true nobility cease to be. It is a reminder that those who wear the crown do so in a manner that honors and upholds it, a benchmark that Meghan has failed spectacularly to reach. Let us hold our ground and be strong in light of this incontestable reality. The royal family will remain an island of calm in a sea of shifting prurience and tabloid froth. Or Meghan's chapter, defined perhaps by its cold duplicity and naked ambition, will recede into the past as an example of the wilderness of pretending to embrace duty for vanity. At the heart of the matter, the very monarchy itself. One can legitimately counter by saying a destitute self-declared sovereign schemer gaining only paper princess status in an Australian court merits no elevation to the status of unilaterally connected victimhood demons. Some may say that simply saying no to her fantasy automatically satisfies some warped royal martyr prophecy. But we all know that, right? Yes, every calculating plot twist, Strand and George Osborne decision-making slight in the Markle playbook has been cruelly analyzed with the precision of seasoned critics. No peach has been left intact. That might break apart the whole anchoring concept of her overwrought fairy tale idea, her precious little title, for God's sake, stripped away, for example. It is the ultimate, "you're fired," a humiliating slap in the face to the Duchess who has tried so hopelessly to legitimize herself over the past decade. Minus those dodgy lord and ladyships, Meghan is once again exposed as the showbiz hostess she always really was. But, out of the shadow of royalty, and she is little more than a Z-lister no one cares about and would not tear Britain apart condemning. Another wannabe in a long line of talentless nobodies who had only dreadful auditions and promiscuous affairs to keep their sordid pasts from being ensconced under tiaras and televised sympathy. And therein lies the harsh truth. Stripped of her regal veneer, her voice becomes nothing more than a whisper, the walls of her neatly constructed lie come crashing down. Think about where this situation fits into the bigger picture. The simple act of stripping him of his royal titles reveal the man, just as it sheds a light on how fragile the constructs used to underpin royal personas can be. It makes us confront how titles and status are fluid and malleable, how quickly the lines between truth and fiction can become blurred in the dirty quest for power and validation. The act of taking it away is a big personal blow, but also a massive shift in culture. Instead, it represents a time for reckoning, for measuring the glib glamour of royalty against more weighty considerations of character and service. It asks us to peel back the shiny veneer and examine not just the appearance but the actual value of those who attempt to use borrowed authority to hold sway over us. All of which means hurrah, chums of republicanism. April 4, 2017 / Hollywood elites shoved aside in this triumph of authenticity over artifice, a win for substance over superficial elsewhere. All it is a shout out to glory in the fall of the lie, and to enhearten a wary eye towards those who bend us to their will. This article was originally published here and on Odyssey. The fall of a false icon is not only a conclusion but a chance at redefining our values and our heroes. This has been an era in which the stripping of titles was not merely punishment but a quite firm statement against the going tokenism of all status, unearned or undeserved. It highlights the age-old value of honesty and the ongoing worth of truth in an era frequently ruled by deceit. And in this reinstatement, it redresses a balance, reminding us all that titles may precede the name, but the real value comes in the deed afterwards. The scepter of justice has struck true and soundly across the crown of King Charles, rebuking the most shameless of grifters squatting upon his Roman legacy. Victory, finally, for the unadorned judgment over the specious mendacity that had infested the Windsor abodes for too many years. May the stark finality of this tongue-lashing hit Meghan like a nasty shot of whiskey, searing away any remaining images of any royal high life. Personally, I see the resolve of King Charles II to never compromise to maintain the integrity of the monarchy. That correction to Meghan is not only a personal victory but a victory for the sanctity and permanence of the royal family. It ends an era of disruptions and controversy by providing closure to a saga that captivated the world. If she cannot bring herself to speak the commonplace civilian name she now deserves as she cries and wails, at least it should be a singular, silence welcome to the next chapter of this tumult and this mess of a princess who is not. Her ambitions will echo no more and the long wait of the crown will continue as they fade into the distance. It is also a rebuke that they live with, one that often gives way to huffing and puffing and complaining, but that remains a stark reminder that the monarchy is not just a cultural attraction but an actual, functioning institution deserving of courtesy and formality. The buck effect of this episode will influence her interactions and most likely forever alter anyone who dances around its borders. So, what do you guys say on the topic? Feel free to weigh in with your thoughts in the comments. What are your opinions? Join the conversation, and let us know your views on this sudden move. Is that really justice or is there more than move underneath the surface of this incident? Until next time, keep an eye out for the biggest and baddest stories on our YouTube channel. Follow, like and subscribe to Woman and Home on Facebook, Twitter and Instagram. And don't forget to sign up for our daily newsletter to get our top stories delivered to your inbox every morning. Thanks for watching. As always, we will see you all with some more exciting news on your royal family. Bye for now.